Hi, Donna Ottaviano-Britt here with another episode of Joyful Disciples. And on this episode, we'll talk about gratitude and where God is working all things to the good in our lives and the early fruit of isolation. So I thought it would be helpful to share where gratitude is being found in my life at this point. And in this slow period of this time of mostly being at home, what do I notice? So let me share with you that I love St. Ignatius of Loyola. And one of his teachings is to find God in all things. And so in this period, where am I really noticing God? And God has beautiful handiwork. It's in our tulips that have actually made it up that I actually have more time to notice as I go, around our yard. It's actually that Joe's mowing the lawn, and I'm grateful, always grateful that Joe mows the lawn, but really having an appreciation for how green it has become and what it smells like. And I have an appreciation now for the storms that roll in and what they bring. The rain, because it means we're in spring. And I have to tell you now that I'm recording this episode, and I really thought I would leave Joe off the hook for this episode because he's been on the last two, but he's just come in unexpectedly. So why don't you pull up a chair and you're going to be in another episode, and we'll adjust the camera and do all of those things, and you can come in here. And so in this period of slowness, what are you grateful for? What have you discovered?
What am I not grateful for? Life is good. It's I don't think I changed much. It's been very difficult for people. I realize that I have a lot to be grateful for. My health, my ability to put food on the table, and just generally, I feel pretty good. But I do most of the time. I'm happy with the way things are in regards to my life and my life with my wife.
So, it rhymes. You're like a poet now.
Yeah.
My life with my wife.
Yeah.
What is that song you sing every once in a while?
I don't know.
You
put me on the spot.
I know, really. I
Yeah.
can't think of the lyric now either, but it has to do with that life and wife.
Okay.
So the other thing that I wanted to share with you is a little bit around what the grace is in terms of a prayer life. So for me, I've always wanted to live at least halfway like all of the apostles and the disciples in the Acts of the Apostles. And I thought, well, maybe I really need to read about them. So I'm actually gifted in this time, in order to read the Acts of the Apostles, because they lived with holy boldness, and I'm watching how they live and what they talk about in the witness they give. So for me, that's a really beautiful thing in this time in terms of my prayer life. So anything in terms of prayer, anything like that you're actually finding some gifts?
Well, I'll tell you one little story. This just happened. And you miss these sort of things in life if you're not attentive to things. In my view, I'm walking the dog, and I see a truck. It's a big truck, tractor trailer, Acme, and in Philadelphia, it'd be Acme. So I see this truck, and I look at the driver, and he's looking at me, and I give him a salute, and I could see he smiled, and he gives me a salute back. But then I reverted to my childhood, and my childhood was I decided to go. Well, guess what he did? He really gave it nice and loud, and it pierced the silence of the walk that I was having. And I thought, there's so much good just within that. There's a man delivering food. Mm-hmm. He's got a smile on his face, and it's, I think times like now people can become desolate. A sense of desolation. And then you have to find those little pieces of consolation along the way. And that's what I've been trying to do. And in regards to prayer, I don't have like a prayer life, whatever that means, but I do pray. And I realize there's a night of the Immaculata, which I committed myself to a number of years ago at Malvern, that when I do speak to Mary. And I love my mom, and now I have Jesus' mom to depend on. And I say, Mom, how about whatever graces you need to bestow on everybody else through me, my prayer to you, so be it, you know. And so far that's been working out, you know. It's in my view. And then if ever the time comes where I think to myself, my God, I really need something big, you know, this is really important, and it's for the welfare of somebody else, I'll ask Mary, and I'll say, listen, could you ask your son, and maybe between the two of you, you'll come through, because it's important. And I don't know if I'm making sense, but that's...
Sure. And so Joe says, you know, do I have a prayer life? Absolutely. That whole story tells that. So there is a prayer life. And if you've not explored Marian consecration in your life, we encourage it, you know, being consecrated to Our Lady, because she actually takes everything we give her and offers it and makes it better to Jesus. So it's a really wonderful, holy practice. And then the last thing that we would share in seeking gratitude is, so what we came to know this week is a fellow parishioner of ours passed away on Sunday. And she's a good, holy, loving woman. And loving Jesus just radiated out of her face. And we knew her through shared ministry, parish missions, parish life, right? And parish life is so important to all of us. Came to understand that she passed away on Divine Mercy Sunday. But there's a beautiful story about her that we only came to realize just a few months ago. And do you want to tell the story of the poster?
The best I can. You know, I'm not as articulate as Donna. But
Sure.
What happened was, I did see there's a number of posters that children had made in our church hall. And one particularly was, in my view, very beautiful. And it was a boy with his little football outfit on, and his love for his uncle. And what I realized is that his uncle had passed away. He was a football coach, and he passed away. And this little guy was taking his uncle's name in confirmation. And it just by chance, the CCD teacher, this lady who had just passed away, was standing a short distance away. I said, you teach CCD? I said, that poster over there, I said, that is the most beautiful poster I've ever seen. And she said, that's my nephew. And I said, it's beautiful. I said, I fell in love with the little guy. I said, he's such a nice, it was just a beautiful poster. And I said, when's confirmation? She said, May 15th. She said, I'm going to be his sponsor. I said, I got to attend. I said, I'd love to meet him. She said, that's a bet. She said, you'll be there. I said, well, now May 15th. I said, coming. She's gone. She passed away. And I have not met the boy yet, but I have intentions somehow through our parish to at least be able to shake his hand and tell him how important his poster was, and also how important his aunt was.
Yeah.
So.
It was a really beautiful conversation with her that day, just a few months ago. There were confirmation posters, and we will go to that rescheduled confirmation to meet him. So for such a good woman who loved Jesus and who was holy, so for the sadness we all have, she actually met Jesus on Divine Mercy Sunday. So in there, we are grateful that she received that grace. So everywhere we look, God is doing his amazing handiwork, and we simply have to open our eyes a little bit to see it. And so, as St. Ignatius of Loyola says, find God in all things. God bless everyone. We'll see you soon.